Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to look at a Leetcode problem, and the problem's name is check if n and its double exist. We're given an array ARR of integers. We have to check if two indices I and j such that I is not equal to j, I and j are both within the bounds of the array, and the element pointing at I index is equal to twice the element pointing at j index. So here we're given this example and the array contains 10, 2, 5 and 3. We have to find two indices such that ARR of I is equal to 2 into ARR of j. Here you can see ARR of I is 10 and ARR of j is 5. So 2 into ARR of j is equal to second index. So 2 into 5 is equal to 10, and there is an element called 10, so we return true. In this case you can see there are no two indices which satisfy the condition, so we return false. Coming to the function given to us, this is the function name. We are given the integer ARR as input. The return type is a boolean, so we have to return either true or false depending on these conditions. So this question is very similar to the two-sum question on Leetcode. We have to find two indices such that we satisfy this condition. So to solve two-sum, we used a hash map, right? So please take a look at that video. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below, or you can also click on the top right corner icon. So there we take a map, and in that map we store the element and we look for if there is a complement of that element such that there are two such indices there. So similarly here also we are going to store the elements inside a map and then check if the current element we're iterating at based on these conditions. So first let's declare a map. The key and value are going to be integers. Now let's iterate through the input array ARR from start to end using a for loop. I will start from 0th index until the end of the array. Now we have to find the double of the current element, right? So there are two cases. We also have to check for the double, or if we are at this element, we have to check 2 will go here and it will become ARR of I by 2. So we have to check for the double of the current element, also the half of the current element. So let's store them in two variables. First let's calculate the double. You can't use the keyword double, so I'm going to name it this, and find the double of the current element we're iterating at. Similarly, we also have to find the half. So it is going to be ARR of I by 2. Now we have double or half. We have to check if this double or half is present inside the map as a key. If that is present, it means we found a pair and we can return true. So if this condition passes, we can return true. So what is that condition? We have to check if map.contains the key as double. So if double is present as key inside the map, or we also have to check if half is present as key inside the map. So I'll copy this and paste it here. We are checking if half is present, but here as you can see this is an integer variable, and in some cases, let's say if 7 is divided by 3, if 7 is divided by 3 it is actually 2.5, but we are storing it inside an integer, so it will only take 2 and it will search for 2. So instead of that, we have to check if what we are dividing by ARR of I is an even number. Only then we have to check if the half is present. In such cases, we don't have to check if half is present. So we have to also place this check if ARR of I when is an even number. So if these two elements are not present inside the map, if that condition is not true, we have to place that element we're iterating at ARR of I inside the map. So in the else block, we will place that element using the put method. ARR of I is inserted as key and its count is equal to 1. Now, if this for loop ends and we haven't returned true, we will return false outside, meaning we haven't found those I and j pairs satisfying the condition. So we return false. Now let's try to run the code. Our test cases are being satisfied. Now let's remove this condition and try to run the code. We'll see that error which I was talking about. So here as you can see, it is still returning true. The expected answer is false because 11 divided by 3 is 3.66, but we are storing it inside an int. So it will take 3, and it is checking that 3 is already present, so it is returning true. So that is why we have to add this condition here, that only if this is an even number, only if ARR of I is an even number, if this is an even number, only then we have to check if its half is present. Else we will face this condition that 11 by 3 is 3.66, but we are storing it inside an int, so half is equal to 3, and we are checking if half is present inside the map. Yes, 3 is present, so it is returning true, which is not the expected output. So we have to check this condition. Now let's try to run the code. Now let's submit the code, and the test cases are being accepted. So the time complexity of this approach is big O of n, where n is the length of the input array ARR. The space complexity is also big O of n because we're using a hash map to solve this question. That's it guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.